Hey everyone, welcome to the Personal Finance Podcast. I'm Daniel.
And I am Anna.
And we love exploring things about personal finance as well as understanding how global news and trends impact our wallets.
Let us remind you that we are not financial advisors, but we dive into TED Talks, interviews with the best investors, books, news alerts, advisors analysis, and more.
You don't need to be a Wall Street expert to make smart decisions with your money. This episode is for you if you want to be able to think like a CEO of your own life.
Let's dive in. Okay, so let's unpack this. We have all had that moment recently.
Oh, yeah.
You're standing at the checkout, maybe just watching the items go by, or, you're scrolling through your banking app late at night, and you see a number that it doesn't compute. You look at the receipt for like 3 bags of groceries, basic stuff, milk, eggs, and you think, did I accidentally buy a small island?
We're a controlling stake in the grocery chain, maybe?
Exactly. It's that universal experience, isn't it? That sticker shock.
It's so jarring. It's a realization that the usual cost of living, it's just not so usual anymore. Your brain is still working on like a price map from 3 years ago.
But your bank account is living in the very harsh reality of today.
It really is.
And that feeling, that's exactly what we are tackling in today's deep dive. We're pulling apart a source called Adjusting Your Budget and Spending Habits.
It's a very practical guide. It's almost utilitarian. It doesn't offer any get-rich-quick schemes.
Thank goodness.
It starts from the premise that costs are higher. That's just the baseline we have to accept.
Which, honestly, I appreciate. I don't need a guide telling me to just manifest abundance and my rent will magically go down. I need a battle plan.
Right, a real plan.
And that's our mission. We aren't just here to complain about the price of eggs, though. Believe me, I could. We are going to extract the specific, actionable strategies from this text that can help us regain some control.
And what's really interesting is the approach it takes. It kind of divides the battlefield. You got your defensive line, which is the obvious cuts we all know we should make.
The painful ones.
The painful ones. And then there's this offensive strategy, which is all about finding these hidden margins in the bills we usually think of as totally fixed.
Okay, so let's get into it. The source starts with a step that sounds so basic, but I think it's the one we all avoid. It says you have to check in on your budget.
It sounds simple, but it's emotionally taxing, right? It's like we become ostriches. If I don't look at the bank statement, maybe the money isn't really gone.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. But the source is clear. To make up for higher costs, you have to find places to cut back. And it splits things into non-essential expenses and essentials.
Well, let's get the non-essentials out of the way first. The source calls them the easiest places to cut, which I have to say, I took a little personally.
Well, easiest is a relative term. Logistically, sure, it's easy. You just don't swipe the card.
But emotionally?
Not so much. The text points right at dining out and entertaining.
Oh, yeah. The classic stop buying the latte and you'll become a millionaire advice. But seriously, does that actually move the needle? Or is it just making us feel bad for wanting a little bit of joy?
I don't think it's about shame. It's about liquidity. It might feel cliche, but the math is kind of undeniable. These are variable costs. You have 100% control over them.
It's the only lever you can pull today, right?
Exactly. If you need cash flow now to cover a rent hike, this is your emergency brake.
Okay, fair enough. It's triage. But here's where the source really surprised me, and this is where I want to spend our time. It insists you can trim the cost of essentials.
This is such a critical shift in mindset. Most of us look at rent, groceries, utilities, and we just see them as fixed costs.
Set in stone.
Yeah. I have to eat. I have to live somewhere. I have to keep the lights on. You feel like a captive audience to whatever the market charges.
Right. I can't just decide not to pay my rent this month. That usually ends badly.
Very true. But the source argues that even inside those must-have categories, there's elasticity. There's room to optimize. It's about going from being a passive bill payer to an active manager of your own overhead.
I like that, an active manager. So, okay, let's start with the first big one, food. The grocery store offensive.
Let's do it.
The source gives a few tactics, and I want to push back a little on the first one. It says, shop for generics at the grocery store. Now, come on, we all know store brands exist. Is this really a deep insight?
I think we need to update our view of generics. The source isn't just saying buy the cheap stuff. It's pointing to an efficiency gap. In many cases, the generic product is made in the exact same factory as the name brand.
The same factory, really?
Often on the exact same production line. They just put it in a different box at the end. When you buy the brand name, you're paying a brand tax. You're funding their Super Bowl ad.
Their graphic design team.
All of it. The source is saying when the goal is purely functional, flour, sugar, canned beans, the generic option gives you an immediate drop in cost for zero loss in utility.
So the price difference between the brand name and the generic is just marketing fluff that I'm paying for.
Precisely. And in an inflationary time, that spread gets wider. So switching isn't just saving pennies, it's refusing to pay for intangible marketing that you can't even eat.
Okay, that makes sense. You're cutting out the middleman. What about the next tip? Coupons. Use coupons whenever possible. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm picturing my grandma at the kitchen table with scissors. Who has time for that?
It does feel archaic, I agree. But we have to look at the digital evolution of this. We're not talking about scissors. We're talking about app-based clipping.
Ah, okay.
And the savings here, it's about fighting the aggregate increase. Think of it this way. If inflation pushes your grocery bill up 10%, and you can stack digital coupons to pull it down 10%.
You basically created your own personal deflation.
You got it. But there's an even bigger strategy in the grocery section that I think is the real game changer here. It's the advice to buy non-perishable items in bulk.
Okay, bulk buying. Costco. I get it. I usually just think, oh, the big bag is cheaper per ounce. But the source gives a very specific reason for this that I hadn't framed this way before.
Yes, this is key. The text says this allows you to lock in current prices before they rise further.
Lock in current prices. That sounds less like grocery shopping and more like, I don't know, commodities trading.
That is exactly what it is. It's applying sophisticated economic thinking to your pantry. Think about the spot price. When you go to the store and buy one roll of paper towels, you're paying the market price for that specific day.
And if I come back next week?
The price might be higher. You're exposed to market volatility. But by buying that massive 48-roll pack today,
I'm buying a future.
You are executing a futures contract with yourself. You are freezing the price of paper towels for the next 6 months. You've hedged against inflation.
Wow. I love that. So it doesn't matter if the price doubles next month because I've already got my supply at the old price.
It's like you're shorting the grocery
market.
Yeah.
But wait, is there a trap here? Because I've definitely bought the 5-gallon drum of mayonnaise and then thrown half of it out.
And that's the danger. The source specifies non-perishable. You have to manage your inventory. You don't hedge with avocados.
Right.
But for rice, pasta, paper goods, cleaning supplies, it's a very sound financial strategy. You're converting cash, which is losing value, into tangible goods that will hold their value.
So my pantry becomes a store of value, a literal asset class.
Correct. And there's a psychological benefit too. It stops panic buying. When you know you have 6 months of toothpaste, you don't make those impulsive, expensive purchases at the corner store.
Oh, that's a great point. You avoid the convenience premium.
You do.
Okay, so we've turned our kitchen into a commodities exchange. Now let's move to the biggest, scariest line item for most people, housing.
Right, and this is where the source offers probably its most creative and, frankly, most uncomfortable piece of advice.
I was reading this and my palms started sweating just thinking about actually doing it. This is for renters.
It says, if you rent, ask your landlord if you can trade services for a rate reduction. It gives examples like cutting the grass or shoveling snow.
Okay, let's be real. That sounds terrifying. Most of us are scared to even ask our landlord to fix a leaky faucet. Now we're supposed to propose a business deal. Won't they just laugh?
The fear is totally valid. But let's break down the economics from the landlord's side. They are running a business. Their biggest costs are vacancy and maintenance labor.
Okay.
If they have to hire a landscaping company, they're paying market rate, plus the company's profit margin, plus the hassle.
So you're not asking for a handout, you're proposing a business transaction.
Exactly. You're offering to insource the labor.
Yeah.
If a landlord is paying $100 a month for lawn care, and you offer to do it for $75 off your rent, you've created value for both of you.
He saves $25 cash, and I save $75 on rent.
And think about the tax efficiency. To pay that $75 in rent, you have to earn, what, $110 at your job?
Right, after taxes.
By bartering your labor, you're essentially using tax-free labor to pay for your housing. It's incredibly efficient.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. You're shifting the relationship from paying money to providing a service. You just have to have the guts to ask.
You do. And the key is to frame it as a solution to their problem. Hey, I notice the landscaping crew sometimes misses the backyard. I'd be happy to take that over for a small adjustment.
You're paying with sweat equity.
And a tenant who cares for the property, who literally shovels the walk. That is a tenant a landlord wants to keep. It makes the relationship stickier.
That's a good point. It's a form of eviction protection. Okay, what about utilities? The source has another lever there.
Yes. Make adjustments to your energy consumption to lower your utility bills.
Okay, this one feels a little standard. Turn off the lights when you leave a room. Thanks, Dad. Is there more to it?
There is. It's about seeing energy as a variable cost you can control, not a fixed tax. It's the accumulation of phantom load.
Phantom load.
Yeah, leaving electronics plugged in, running the dishwasher half full, the thermostat being just 2 degrees too high. These things compound. And unlike rent, utilities are pay-per-use. Your behavior has a direct one-to-one correlation with the cost.
So if negotiating rent is the Hail Mary pass, this is the game of inches.
Perfectly put. It's the defensive side to the offensive strategy of negotiating rent.
Got it. So we've optimized the house, now we have to leave the house. Let's talk about strategy 3, transport and technology.
Right. This is mainly about the cost of driving.
Yeah.
And it splits the advice into analog behavior and digital tools.
The source gives 2 points. First, reduce your driving. And second, use an app to find the cheapest gas prices near you. Let's start with reducing driving. That sounds obvious, but for most people, driving is a necessity.
It is, but it's about trip chaining. The source challenges what you could call the impulse drive. We often treat our cars like they're free to operate. We forget the cost per ignition.
Cost per ignition. I like that. It sounds expensive.
It is. Every time you start the car, you're burning gas, wearing on the tires, degrading the oil. The advice is to consolidate your trips, link them together. It's logistical efficiency.
So fighting that reflex to just jump in the car because you forgot to buy milk.
Exactly. And then the second point brings in technology. Use an app to find the cheapest gas prices.
Now, I have to ask. I've seen people drive 5 miles out of their way to save 3 cents a gallon. Is that what this is? Because that seems counterproductive.
No, and that's a classic mistake. You burn more in gas than you save. The value of the app is market transparency. In the old days, gas stations relied on you not knowing that the station 3 blocks over was 20 cents cheaper.
Information asymmetry.
Exactly. You just paid for convenience.
Yeah.
Now with apps, you have perfect market knowledge. It's not about driving across town. It's about knowing that on your current route, station A is $3.50 and station B is $3.80.
That adds up. On a 15-gallon tank, a 30-cent difference is nearly $5. That's a free coffee.
That's it. So you combine behavior modification driving less with smart consumerism, using data to pay the floor price when you do have to buy gas.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We're trading labor for rent, hedging paper towel prices, using data to buy gas. If we step back, what's the big takeaway from all this? It feels like more than just a list of tips.
I think the big theme is a shift from passive acceptance to active management. When costs go up, the human reaction is to feel helpless. Well, prices are up. I guess I'm just poorer now.
Right, it feels like it's happening to you.
This source flips that. It says, no, you have levers to pull. You aren't just a consumer. You're an active participant. You have the check your budget lever, the generic brands lever, the negotiate rent lever, the bulk buying lever.
It's a two-pronged approach. You have defense, cutting the fun stuff like dining out. That's the triage to stop the bleeding.
Right.
But then you have the offense, optimizing the boring stuff, groceries, rent, gas.
And that offense is where the sustainability comes from. You can only cut fun for so long before you get miserable.
Yeah.
But optimizing your utilities or building a pantry hedge, you can do that forever.
And there's a psychological win there too. When you use a gas app and save $5, or you look at your pantry full of pasta you bought at last year's prices, you feel like you're winning a little game against the system.
You're reclaiming agency. And in a chaotic economy, agency turns anxiety into action.
We can't control the inflation rate. We can't control what the gas station charges, but we can control how we interact with those prices.
Precisely.
So I want to leave everyone with a final thought that really stuck with me. From our talk on bulk buying, we talked about locking in prices.
The inflation hedge.
Right. So if you really start treating your household supplies like a stock market investment, buying low and holding, how does that change how you look at your pantry? Is a fully stocked shelf actually a financial asset?
It absolutely is.
And if it is, should we be auditing our pantry the same way we audit our bank accounts?
It's a liquid asset,
Yeah.
literally, if you're stocking up on juice. But yes, viewing your inventory as wealth protection is a huge paradigm shift. It makes the mundane act of grocery shopping feel strategic.
Something to think about next time you're walking down the bulk aisle. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.